A Fair Young Princess Named Snow White by Vanessa Chaparro. The first language I learned to speak was Spanish, even though I was born here in America. My mother always spoke to me in Spanish, but I was able to hear English. I listened to English words by watching The Big Comfy Couch. It was during this show that I developed my reading. Molly would always read a story during the show, and I picked a story as well. It was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs by Walt Disney. I loved this book so much because it was a hand-me-down. It was also big in size and large in color, vivid in color. My journey into the reading world began. I realized that I resembled Snow White. Well, more like I could relate to her, because she cleaned the cottage for the dwarfs. I quickly learned that I love doing chores as well. Love helping my mom, and I also owned a plastic iron which I would use every day. Along with that, I would love going to the arcade and visiting places such as the Washington Monument. Along with going to the park, having fun, doing what 3-year-olds do. As I got older, I got my first backpack, and this is what brought me into education world. I went to Head Start at 4 years old, and it was in this classroom that I learned my name, my numbers, my alphabet, my words. I also learned about subjects, but most importantly, I learned English. It was my first Halloween, and I was Snow White. I was finally Snow White, with her vivid self and happy self, jolly, as I explained myself as well. I felt that I could get through school with Snow White because she helped me learn my words. She is described as her lips rose red, her hair like night, her skin like snow, her name Snow White. I thought I resembled her. She was a future me. With Snow White in my mind and the story being my favorite, the roles changing, I was able to read the story to my mom. I read it to her in English, and vice versa. She had read it to me in Spanish when I was younger. When I went to Disney World is when I realized that reading the story made the bond between me and my mother even stronger. Snow White is alive, and so began my interest in reading.